Lovely people, good day and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. My name is Oluwatosin, and to all my returning subscribers, you're also welcome. Thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. Thanks for stopping by my channel. And in case you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel, and don't just subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you can get notified when next I upload new video on this channel. In this particular tutorial, we are going to be learning how to cut and sew this elegant brocade jumpsuit from start to finish. This jumpsuit has pleating at the front. It is a pleated waist jumpsuit. As you can see, it has an inseam pocket, it has bustier, and it is padded. This jumpsuit is loaded. If you are interested in learning how to cut and sew this jumpsuit from start to finish step by step, come along with me. Okay, so I made this jumpsuit for a yummy mommy and an adorable little princess. I made this jumpsuit for a mom and a daughter. But this video is going to be centered on how to cut and sew for the mom. I'm not going to be talking about how to cut for the child, but basically it's almost the same process. The only difference is just the breast pad, princess that bustier, and all of that. Now, to achieve a jumpsuit like this for any adult at all, here are the measurements you need to measure on the person, or here are the measurements that you have to know at the back of your mind. This is the brocade fabric we are going to be working with, and I used 3 yards of brocade for this particular project. We will start our cutting with the half cut. You consider a bust, and then you had 14 inches allowance. You cut that out and share it into 2. One is going to be for front, the other one for the back. The next thing after this is to divide a nipple to nipple by 2 plus half-inch allowance. Connect that into a straight line. Then on that line, you measure a shoulder to nipple plus half-inch allowance, shoulder to under the bust plus half-inch allowance. You know, the normal way you bring out your princess that bustier, and then you proceed to draw in your cup and you cut that out. That will be for the front panel. For the back, you are just going to measure zip allowance. In this case, I used 1.5 inch for the zip allowance, and then from there, a nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half-inch allowance, you cut that out. At this point, I'll not be removing my neckline, armhole, or whatever. I'll join my bustier first before doing that. The next thing to do is to start cutting the trouser parts of the jumpsuit. So we'll be cutting for front first. So what you will consider to be able to know the quantity of fabric you'll be needing for this is that you're going to divide a hip by 4 first. When your fabric is a fold of 2, after that you're going to measure 2 inches sewing allowance, 2 inches for extending the crouch, and because this jumpsuit has a big pleat, as you can see, you'll be using 4 inches for your pleat. So a hip divided by 2 when your fabric is on fold of 2, 2 inches sewing allowance, 2 inches for extending the crouch, and 4 inches for this kind of pleat. Next thing after this, you consider the full length. You deduct a half length from a full length, and whatever is remaining will be the length. Then because you are cutting a trouser or a jumpsuit, is better you had 3 inches allowance to the length. After bringing out the quantity of fabric that you need, you will divide our waistline by 4, and then you have 2 inches allowance for sewing and 4 inches allowance for making your pleat. From the waistline, you will measure a back crouch, and after measuring a back crouch, you mark that point, and from the back crouch, you come upward with 2 inches, and on that 2 inches, you are going to divide a hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance plus another 2 inches for extending the crouch, and then plus that 4 inches for making your pleat. I hope that's clear. So after doing this, you proceed to drawing your crouch. The next thing to do is to measure a thigh. So from where the crouch stops, you go downward with 3 inches, and on that point you measure a thigh divided by 2 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Then you take it down to the down of your jumpsuit. You measure whatever you want, that you measure however wide you want that place to be. But whatever you are measuring, please don't forget to add the 4 inches allowance for making your pleat. And because this is brocade, That is why I'm adding 2 inches allowance. You can use one, you can use one. And that is it for the front of the jumpsuit. For the back, you are going to place the front panel on another fabric that is on fold of two and is 2.5 inches wider than the front. So you place it on that fabric and then you cut it out. It's just that 2.5 inches, the main place we need it is around the butt region. So towards the waistline is going to be like 1 inch, towards the down of the jumpsuit to be like 1 inch as well. But on the butt area, you can see where my finger is running across. Make sure it's 2.5 inches. Then we are going to be reducing the front with 1 inch, just like I'm cutting out. And after doing this, back crouch is always bigger than front crouch. So you'll be reducing your front crouch to whatever the length is, to whatever the crouch length is, was what I did. The next thing to do is to cut lining. I cut lining for my bustier, and then for the trouser part of the jumpsuit, I made the lining halfway. I cut lining for front and back, but it's not full. I just made it halfway. If you like, you can fully line your jumpsuit, but I want my own lining to stop where it is stopping now. So the next thing to do after this is to start joining. Firstly, I'll join my half length. I joined front panel, main fabric, the lining. I joined the back panel as well. I arranged them. Right side is facing right side. All the joinings are facing the same direction. The first thing to consider is under a bust. This person's under the bust itself is 16.5. So I'll put 16.5 at that point because I can obviously spot the under bust. Where my cup stops is the under bust, and then I'll mark one up and add 1 inch allowance for joining the shoulder line. Towards the down, I'll still put the 16.5 under the bust. Our half length is 19. I'll mark 19 and then I'll add 1 inch allowance for joining it to the lower part of the jumpsuit. Now, I'll be dividing our shoulder by 2 and be adding half-inch allowance. I'll mark that. I proceeded to marking our armhole as well. Our actual armhole is 22, but at this point I used 8.5. The next thing is to divide our bust by 4, and then I added 2 inches sewing allowance. I divided our waistline by 4 as well. I added 2 inches sewing allowance. I proceeded to cutting all of this out. Then I notched the middle of the front panel because of the asymmetric neckline that this jumpsuit has. As you can see, the neckline are not the same on both sides. So I will rearrange my bustier. The two wrong sides will be facing each other. The right side for the front will be facing me and the right side for the back will be facing the table. Now, with the help of the notch that I made at the middle, I can easily identify the middle. So from the middle, I'll be marking my neck width to the right side because the off shoulder side is on the left. So I used neck width of 3.5 to the right side, and then I measured 4 inches downward on the off shoulder side. This depends on how off you want that part to be, but in my case I used 4. Then you're just going to slant it and then trim it out. Now, to cut out the lining, right side of the main fabric has to face the right side of the lining before you trim it out. When you are removing the asymmetric neckline, please don't put the lining first. You are going to cut out the lining later, just like I'm doing. And while you are cutting out the lining, the right side of the lining has to face the right side of the main fabric. So I did that to the back panel, and this is me trying to do that to the front panel now. You can see that the right side of my main fabric is facing the right side of my lining. After this, I turned the neckline, I turned the shaping side, I turned the zip side as well. For the trouser part, I turned the crouch region and then I turned the other side of it, and that is it. The next thing to do is to join my crouch just where my finger is running across, and this is for just the front crouch. I'll be joining that, and after joining that, I'm going to be attaching it to the half length. So I'll put a notch at the middle of the half length. I'll bring my crouch that I have already joined. I'm going to be pinning the middle, that's the part where I joined, to the notch where I made, and then I'll start sewing the down on the half length. While you are doing this, don't forget to make your pleat. I put my pleat directly underneath the nipple to nipple, and you have to be strategic about it. Like it's always finer when the pleating is facing outward. So I made my two pleats at the front face outward, and then face eventually when you flip it to the right side, your pleating has to be facing the shaping side, like the side where the pocket is. You just have to be strategic about it. So I did that for the front panel, and then I did the same thing when I was done for them attaching the half length to the trouser part of my jumpsuit. For the front, this is what is already looking like. For the back, don't be mindful of not mixing it up. Make sure that your crouch is directly facing your zip allowance so that you don't get to lose it later and start again. I know that this fabric frays a lot, so and be strategic with the way you place your pleating as well. Eventually your pleating has to face outside. Then when I was done doing that, I marked where I want my zip to be. After marking where I want my zip to be, I stitched what was remaining after marking where I want my zip to be, just inside the back couch. And then I fixed my zip. When I was done fixing my zip, I joined my shoulder line. It's just one shoulder line in this case because the other side is off shoulder. Now, this jumpsuit has an inseam pocket. So this is me trying to mark where my pocket is going to be. From the waistline, I measured 2 inches downward, and from that 2 inches, I marked 6.5 inches. That would be the wideness of the pocket. I have a detailed video on how to to cut and sew an inseam pocket on my channel. I'll be putting the link up in case you need to understand that better. After that, I proceeded to shaping my jumpsuit. I divided our bust by 4. I marked that. Our waistline divided by 4, I marked that as well. So for the hip, you are going to be deducting 3 inches from the hip, and whatever is remaining is what you will divide by 4 and mark. And when it's time for you to stitch, please make sure that the front and the back panel are on the same line, because the back is going to appear wider than the front. Don't let it stay out. Just forcefully take it inside before you shape, because that is where the 3 inches that you deducted from the hip line from the hip is. So I shaped for this side, and then I flipped it to the other side, and I shaped as well. Please, if at this point you are still with me, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube can suggest this video to the right audience. And if you've not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when next I upload a new video on this channel. So when I was done shaping, I proceeded to folding the down of my jumpsuit. I actually folded my tiny. You can fold yours big. It depends on the allowance that you put while you were cutting. And after folding, I proceeded to shaping the tie side. So from the down of your jumpsuit, you are going to shape. Since it's a wide leg and it even has pleats, I just shaped with 1 inch from the down towards the thigh, towards the crouch, and then you repeat the same thing to the other leg of your jumpsuit. And when I was done doing this, I proceeded to making my sleeve, which I'm going to be uploading a detailed video on how to make that sleeve later, because that sleeve is very time taking. If I say I should merge it to this video, is going to be too lengthy, and I don't want it to be too lengthy. So I did all of that, and basically we are done cutting and sewing our jumpsuit. But in case you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask me down in the comment section. So this is what the thigh region is looking like when I was done shaping. Of a truth, my mannequin is not doing justice to this jumpsuit. You guys needed to have seen this jumpsuit on the owner. It is so elegant, like it's giving that rich auntie kind of vibe. So thank you so much for watching this video from the beginning to this point. If you found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you can, please share this video as much as you can. You don't know who this video might be helpful to, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.